Hi, good evening. My name is Mohammad Raza and I am a student of Bhajpa University Level 4 Year 1 CC. So today we are going to explain my portfolio. So at the top of this code, I started with the doc type HTML declaration which tells the browser that I am using HTML. Then I open the HTML tag and set a language to English using language. Inside the head section I define the character set as UTF-8 using metachar set. The viewport tag is included to ensure responsive behavior on all devices. I set the page title to Mohammad Raza Portfolio which shows in the browser tab. I link two style sheets. One is my custom style sheet style.css for all my personal styles. The other is a font awesome CDN link that allows me to use icon font through the site. Now I am going to explain the header section. Inside the body I begin with the header. It contains a nav tag for navigation bar. On the left is my logo, which is Mohammad Raza. On the right, I have listed a navigation link that allow user to jump to different sections of the site like home, about, skills, project and contact. Now I am going to explain hero section. Next, in the hero section, section ID is equal to home class hero. It introduced me with a bold heading saying I am Mohammad Raza with my name highlight using a span class highlight. Below that is a shorter tagline web developer, designer and coder. I have including a profile image with a circular style and a white border for a clean professional look. Now I am going to explain my project section. So there is a screenshot image, a heading with a project name and a short description, and a view live button linking to the Figma prototype which will show you my Figma so you can see my project. On the next project I have a coffee ordering app. Same goes with it. Similarly, this cards contain a screenshot, a name, description and a live preview button. Both project cards are styled to appear clean and modern using shadows and spacing for depth. At the next section I have added my skills like Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, etc. So some of the links are here to show my projects and my certificates so you can watch easily. At the end I have my contact area which you can text me or send me an email by clicking on the email button. So next I am going to show my CSS where I have wrote animations, codes, etc. and color wolf, etc. At the top I have used universal selector to apply a box sizing border box rule which ensures all the element size consistently by including padding and border in their total width and height. I also remove default margin and padding and set a clean readable font family. The body has a soft background color and a dark text color. I also use line height to make the text more reliable. Header and navigation. Now I am going to explain header and navigation which I used in this CSS. The header is styled with a dark background padding for a spacing and a shadow for depth. I use position sticky note to keep it visible at the top while scrolling inside the nav. I use flexbox to space out the logo and navigation link. The logo is styled with a white color and a bold large font. Navigation links are made horizontal using flexbox with gap 1.5 rem. The links are light gray by default and change a cyan blue color when hovered, giving interactive feedback. Now I am going to explain my heroes section. The heroes section takes up most of the viewport with mid height and uses a linear gradient background from cyan to blue. Text is center and color are set for contrast. I use a highlight class to change my name color to yellow which draws attention. The profile image is styled by the circular with border radius and I give a white border and a drop shadow for a polished look. Now I am going to explain my section area. Each section has a padding and a max width to keep content centered and reliable. The heading is styled to be a large and centered. Under the section area I have my skill area. For the skill and project I use the CSS grid layout with auto fit and minimax to make it responsive. Each skill card has a white background, rounded corner and a soft shadow. On hover, it lifts slightly with the transfer translate, adding interactivity. Icons inside skills card are large, colorful and match to brand color of the tool like HTML orange or Python blue. I also added progress bar that visually professionally show proficiency. For example, HTML bar is 90 and white and orange, CSS 85% blue, like that. Under skill section, I have my progress area, or you can say contact section. The contact section has a dark background with white text and can link. However, the email link is underlined. Now I will tell you what animation I have added. I added a simple animation class called fade-in, which fades elements in from below using keyframe fade-in up. This adds a professional smooth entrance for heading to stagger animation for visuals. Now I am going to explain JavaScript which I had added in this code. So the line grips all the elements on the page that have the reveal class, usually element we want to animate when they scroll into view. On the next line, we will calculate a trigger point based on the height of. First, I select all the elements with the class reveal. There are the element I want to animate when they enter the viewport. Next, I have defined a function called reveal all scroll that will check the position of each reveal element relative to the port and the user scrolls. On the next, here I can calculate a trigger point set at 85 for the window height from the top. This means when an element is near the button of the reveal screen, it should animate. Then for each reveal element, I get position relative to the viewport. If the top of the element is above the trigger point, meaning it has entered the visible area, I add the class activity to trigger CSS animations. The code watches reveal element as the user scrolls. When they get close enough on screen, it adds an active class to trigger CSS animation. It uses both manual scroll checks and the interaction observer API for efficient animation triggers. It also triggers progress by animation inside those elements by setting their width dynamically. That's how this code adds engaging scroll trigger animation to my portfolio site. Here you go. This is my code and my explanation. Thank you.